there, Shawna Karrasch here, coming to you with a Villanova Ask Shawna answer. Okay, so this question comes from Diane, and she says, hello, I've started clicker training with my 5-year-old off-the-track thoroughbred. When I present a reward or treat to him, he takes one calm bite and then uses his teeth to get the remainder of the feed. I'm currently using pelleted food. I've incorporated waiting for him to turn his head away before clicking, as I found I was way too quick in the click reward timing. But as the session continues, he gets more aggressive in getting the food from my hand. Do you have any suggestions as to what steps I can take to keep him from biting the palm of my hand? I do keep my hand flat. However, I'm apprehensive that if I'm not watching closely enough, he will get me with his teeth. And Diane, this is a common and a great question because it is, I mean, it's something that happens from time to time. There can be different reasons for it. So we don't necessarily know that, but I want to look at it as a behavior. So some horses get excited. So their excitability kind of gets them a little bit more. A lot of times, if I feel a horse who's eaten nicely, which your guy goes there pretty quick, so it may be a different source, but if I find a horse has been eating nicely, starts kind of eating a little more, I pay attention and I realize oftentimes it's with some tension. So I don't know that that's the case or not. Some horses, I find if you watch them eat in their feed tub, that's how they eat. So you'll see scrapes on the bottom of their feed tub, and that's how they've eaten, and that's how they do eat. So there's that, which you can kind of watch and see, or look at his feed tub and see. And then the other thing is sometimes it is not enough food. So this can seem kind of counterintuitive because people like the going fast can sometimes get their energy up, but giving them a lot of food, a bigger handful, a lot of times slows them down. So that they and so what I do, in any case, I want to teach it like a behavior. So for some horses I found, if I slowly, not aggressively, not confrontationally, but I slowly raise my hand when they're eating, they have a tendency to kind of want to back off a little bit. So you'll find them kind of readjusting their head to eat nicely, but it changes their kind of what they're doing. So it's kind of a distraction, but it can give you the right behavior. I click and I feed it. So when they take it nicely, I do look at it as a behavior and think, how can I set you up for success? And how can I get the behavior I'm looking for? So sometimes raising the food helps. And not smashing it in their face. I've had people do that. You're like, no, that's not the point. But raising it a little bit so they kind of keep adjusting into a different position. Another thing is, and then the other thing is having a mouthful. While they have a mouthful, they're kind of like, yeah, I'm eating. And you go, yes, okay, I'm going to feed you again. And then they're like, okay. And they tend to be a little less snatchy with it. So I click and I feed again, and I click and I feed again. So I'm actually trying to reinforce them for that. And that does two things. It also lets them know that plenty of food is coming, so that a lot of times can solve the problem right there if they're feeling like it's not enough. I use this analogy a lot, and you may have heard it before, but like if somebody comes out with a plate of chocolate chip cookies and I'm hungry, like I am right now, and I smell those cookies, I see those cookies, I'm like, oh, I want some cookies. And then they break off like a chocolate chip and give it to me. I'm gonna be like, thank you, but I want a cookie. So sometimes if we're not feeding enough, we can create a little sparseness, a little bit of scarcity. So sometimes feeding more can help. So really look at it as a behavior. There was a time I was going to work with a zebra, and so the zebra didn't know much of anything. And so I go there and I say, okay, I'm here to work with the zebra. And they said, okay, well, it's a horse farm. And they said, okay, well, if you feed her pelleted food, feed grain, she bites your hand. But if you feed her carrots, she takes it nicely. I'm like, well, get me carrots. I'm not dumb. But so they get me the carrots and she won't take the carrots. So I had to go, okay, I need the grain. And knowing that she may bite my hand. So like you, I kept my hand very flat, but I really tried not to move it. So I kept it really, really flat. she bit the palm of my hand, the little meat, not hard. I mean, she let go, but then she went back to just taking the food. So that was kind of an accident. She wasn't trying to do that. And then what I realized is what people have been doing, they're kind of afraid of her. So they're pulling the hand away because she kind of bites. And so people do that. And then they get where they kind of feel like they have to dive after it because the food is leaving. So those are all things to think about. But really, I work it like a behavior when I have those horses that are like that. I think I need to click and feed you for the times that you take it nicely. And how can I set you up for success to take it nicely? So there's different options that you might be able to try there that might be able to help you create the right behavior, and then click and feed the right behavior till he gets the right idea about it. I hope that helps you out. Coming to you from Santa Fe. Bye.